I want to talk about spatial directions in the context of Alexander technique. So if I were to say to you to be aware of up, the direction of up, you might think about it. You might kind of go, oh yeah, there's up as a concept. And as you could see, my eyes moved off to the side, which indicates that I was engaging a thinking part of my brain. It's like, oh yeah, up is a thing. I'm kind of imagining the ceiling. Cool. And that is a trap that we can fall into, and it isn't actually being aware of the direction of up. Um, what it actually is more like a process. So a direction as a continually renewing, refreshing process that is always happening that we can kind of hook onto in a way. So when I think about up, it's not only that there's space above my head, it's that this direction of up is almost like it's like there's a something that's already moving up, and all I have to do is in some way latch onto it. Um, and this activates in me a kind of lengthening, um, a relaxation of a downward pull of gravity, and instead a kind of um, antagonistic up release that I couldn't do using muscle. I couldn't forcibly pull myself up. But by activating this direction experience, I just noticed that this lengthening happens. Now, in a lesson, I would show you this through touch. I would put my hand somewhere, say on your neck or your head somewhere, and I would make a subtle adjustment between the relationship between your skull and your spine, and you would notice this lengthening happening. There's this experience of up that I'm talking about, particularly forward and up. I can't do that in this context. So instead, I'm looking for other ways that I can point towards this experience. One way that I'm playing with currently is just pointing. So you can point up, and you might have an experience that if you point at something, a dog will look at your finger, whereas a human will look in the direction of the point. So in the same way, we're going to experience the direction of the pointing, not the concept of the finger or even what it's pointing at. It's more like hooking onto the process of whatever this thing is pointing towards. This is the it's the thing that almost happens below the understanding of there being anything in that particular direction. It's the level beneath that of, hey, that process exists. It's very difficult to describe. Another way of capturing it might be for those of you who know On Having No Head by Douglas Harding. His experiment there is to point the finger back at yourself. So you look at the finger, so that's the finger, and then you look back at your own awareness as if from the perspective of the finger. So you're looking in this direction. Your awareness is over there, looking back over here. And for me, that triggers a kind of a cognitive error message. My thinking brain doesn't know what to do with that, which causes it to drop out. We're not doing that in this case, but it's the same kind of thing. It's okay, there's up, but there's the kind of the act of looking up, the act of awareness, considering the up direction. And as you do that, you keep renewing it, keep choosing it. You can't pick it once and then keep it. It's a constant choice thing. It's a constant awareness of up. Notice what that does to your own sense of verticality, of length, particularly in your neck and down your upper spine. You notice this all the way down through to your pelvis and where your hip joints are. And just play with this so you can switch it off. You can kind of just narrow your attention on something. And I'm not causing myself to collapse, but I can feel it. And then rather than hauling myself up, I will just switch on that up direction and I can feel myself floating up naturally. So this is one of the next things I want to kind of dig into is direction. So inhibition is talking about stopping the habitual responses to stimuli. Direction is something that you can do within a space of inhibition. So you're inhibiting your habitual responses, but you're not lacking in agency. You still have choices that you can make, and choices are direction. So I am choosing to inhibit my habitual responses. I'm not responding to things. And then I add in the direction and allow the system that I have to take care of itself. I want to talk about this some more. I'm not sure how yet. I'll be looking for ways, but if that was interesting, let me know.